Hey everyone, A Complex back with another video, and well, let's talk about Mass Effect, specifically the super secret surprise trailer that BioWare gave to us at the Game Awards tonight. Now, there was a lot to unpack in the trailer, and there were a few very specific things that stood out to me, and I wanted to walk you through them, so let's just dive on into it. Now, the first thing that ended up standing out to me is during the trailer, about midway through, you start to see what we now know as Liara walking up a mountain, and behind Liara is a dead Reaper, and that is particularly cool to me, just because it does signal the fact that yes, you are in fact in the Milky Way galaxy. This is post the Reaper War, and here we are. Liara is looking for something. Liara is out there, and I love the imagery of the dead Reaper, especially because it's a little hard to see unless you're paying attention. It's actually very easy to miss the Reaper in the background, and you can kind of also see some of the different like Reaper cords and stuff like that on the mountain as Liara is walking up it. But I do in fact really like that imagery. Now, my absolute favorite detail from this trailer would have to be as Liara is picking up the N7 insignia, which I will chat with you more about in just a minute. She gets a little smirk on her face, and if you played the OT and at the end of ME3, if you had romanced Liara and you picked the destroy ending for the Reapers and you lived, as Liara is putting your name up on the Normandy's list of people that died, she actually pauses and then looks up and has a smirk on her face. So specifically, if you pick destroy and you live, she has a smirk, which is the indicator that yes, you did in fact live. You take that breath at the end and everything like that. That is how you know that. And the fact that at this trailer, towards the end of it, when she picks up the N7 insignia and stuff like that, you do see that smirk across her face. It's such a harken back to the end of the OT, but also you could take it as a, well, is Shep alive kind of thing, because that's what it signified at the end of ME3. So it very well could signify that for this trailer, for this next game. Of course, we don't know if we're going to be playing as Shep or a different N7 or a different person entirely. Those details are completely unknown to us at this time, but it would be pretty cool if that was the tie-in. That smirk on Liara's face is also what lets us know now that maybe we are in fact playing a Shep. Maybe Shep does come back for this next game. I also found it particularly interesting that this all happened on a snowy planet. If you remember back to ME2, when you did the mission to get the dog tags and you found Shep's helmet and everything like that, the planet that Shep's body was found on was a snowy planet. And it's very interesting that this is the setting that they chose to show Liara and everything else that is going on. It's a snowy planet where Liara does pick up an N7 insignia that looks like it was attached to a helmet. Is it Shep's helmet? Is it somebody else's helmet? Did Liara go back, in fact, to that original planet where Shep's body was originally found? We don't know. That is all up in the air, but it is fun speculation. So I did like that little detail because it is very possible that Shep had multiple helmets on the Normandy SR1, and maybe this was that original planet, and maybe that is one of Shep's original helmets. We don't know, but that is pretty cool. And then behind Liara, you will notice that you can see three different figures. Now, two of them I am relatively certain of who or like what they are species-wise. One on the right-hand side would probably more than likely be a Krogan. If you've seen a Krogan before, you know exactly what they look like. That is distinctively a Krogan. On the left-hand side, that looks like a Solarian. It definitely reminds me of the models, especially that we saw in MEA, like the taller Solarians and everything like that. Now, the figure in the middle, though, that is up to some interpretation. It almost has the leg bend of either like a Turian or something like that. It could maybe be a Quarian, but it's a little too bulky. Most of the time, the Quarians tend to be on the a smaller size, like build-wise. Maybe a Quarian male, but I'd highly doubt that. Maybe a human, but then again, it doesn't look like the right shape. It almost looks like an Angaran, to be honest. And at the start of the trailer, they did in fact show two different galaxies. And so maybe this is a tie-in to both games. I don't know. It's very possible, though, that throughout the course of the arcs leaving and then the start of this game, provided it's within 1,000 years of each other, or I guess I should say 900, because Liar is about 100 years old during the course of the trilogy, that we found some way to go from the Milky Way to Andromeda, you know, faster than we did to get to Andromeda. So that is something that is very possible. It could very well be an Angaran. We just don't know yet. I'm like 50-50 on that. It would be very cool, though, if within this game itself they did find a way to tie in both Mass Effect Andromeda and everything that happened there, because I do know that there are quite a few people that very, very much enjoy their time in Andromeda, and they want to know how that story ends. They want to kind of wrap that up. So it would be very cool if both the end of the OT and the end of Mass Effect Andromeda kind of converge at some point within this game to kind of make all of it make sense and then move forward with the Mass Effect series. That would kind of be like a best case scenario, in my opinion. Now, the final thing I did want to bring up was the Dead Relay. Now, the Dead Relay is particularly interesting because, A, it's just the utter destruction. That was the end of ME3, and I find that imagery is beautiful. It just goes to show what everybody went through throughout the course of the 3 games, and that's what it ended up being, that the relays were destroyed. And it's kind of beautiful in that kind of destructive sense. But more importantly, this means that we have no travel between relays. We use relays to travel to different systems, because even though we have FTL, it's still not as fast as a relay. So we might be stuck in a very small area comparatively to what we've seen in the past, or maybe we're going to be building our own relays, or maybe some of them are repaired and some of them aren't. We don't know, but it's all very interesting. And the fact that they took a little bit of extra time, they kind of like slowed down the camera almost during that, it just kind of shows how important that is, that the relays themselves are dead. At least in this shot, they're dead, they're no more. So how are we going to travel? Now, as a heads up, I do have a lore series that I did start on Mass Effect, and there is one where I did briefly talk about the relays. So if you're curious at all about like what is Mass Effect, stuff like that, and just the lore of Mass Effect, make sure that you go ahead and check that out. And there will be more episodes coming over the course of the near future. But y'all, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you've enjoyed the trailer and this little sneak peek into the next game of Mass Effect. I am so excited to not only play the Legendary Edition when it comes out, but to play this next Mass Effect game whenever it comes out. I am so excited to go home to the Milky Way galaxy. Y'all, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your night and or day, depending on where you are in the world, and I will catch you next time. Bye, guys.